Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So today we're gonna give you information on how to actually go out and buy a scan tool or code reader for your vehicle and hopefully not get stung. Okay? There's a lot of these code readers and scan tools out on the marketplace, online, in stores, what have you. And of course, we have a lot of variety of vehicles on the planet too. We've got Volkswagens, we've got Audis, we've got Saabs, we've got Porsches, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Dodge, Chrysler. The list is endless, okay? And the thing is when it comes to the average guy, like me, I run a small business out of my home, one of which I do general automotive repairs. And I need a scan tool that's going to be hopefully really reliable, maybe a couple of them. And of course I am going to buy a couple more. But I like to cover my bases a bit. But I also like to have tools that are going to function with my own personal vehicle too. And when it comes to scan tools and code readers, I tend to stay away from a straight code reader because a code reader is fine for giving you basic engine issues, but it's not going to diagnose your airbags or your transmission and a lot of other features that you're going to want to have access to. And if you don't have airbags, in your present car, you may in your next. So try and think ahead a little bit, so you don't have to hopefully buy another tool. You still may end up having to, it's hard to say. The first red flag to look for when you're doing research, looking for a scan tool for your vehicle, is if it says that it works with all 1996 and newer vehicles with an ODB2 port. That is the first red flag. There is no such thing as a under $8,000 machine that will work with all 96 and newer vehicles. Okay, that's one thing I've learned myself already. So if it says works with all, it is a falsehood, and it's also a very good possibility that that scan tool or reader may not even work with your vehicle. So you need to really do a lot of research on features and specifications and vehicles in the list that the manufacturer of that tool has put in there. And you may have to make a call to the manufacturer just to find out if your car was included. They may or may not even know. So if you're kind of a little dicey on it and you still want to try their tool out and buy it, make sure at least you can get a refund if it will not communicate with your vehicle. Also be aware of something else. Even though you may buy a scan tool that says it does ABS, transmission, etc., it may not do all of those features for your exact model car, okay? Or it may, and that's a kind of a dicey roll. That's why these are not a end-all to be-all tool, okay? None of them are, okay, until you spend thousands of dollars on one. So unless you're a dealership or a garage where you must have one of those really super expensive glitter toy machines that's an end-all to be-all, then you don't need to worry about that. What you need to know is as much information as you can possibly suck out of that computer to tell you what's going on with your vehicle and still not break the bank on the reader. Now, I've looked at one of the companies being Innova, and because I've had their tools and I've had no real big issues with them, except that the 3100 series code reader that I had, or diagnostics tool as they called it, there was a lot of features it just couldn't pull off, but it did work with all my vehicles except for my Volkswagen Golf, which was a 99. And that tool is also professed to be on the site as saying works with all 96 and newer vehicles. But it should have worked, but it didn't. And it's like, why? Well, if you look at a couple of their other scan tools, they also have some that are listed as specific for imports and foreign cars. Well, now we're talking upwards to $500. I'm not spending $500 on a scan tool that still may or may not work, even though it says import and foreign, because hey, Volkswagen's an import car, okay, so a little bit pricey to buy, but real mother pricey to maintain too. I learned that lesson the hard way. So I'll never buy a Volkswagen again. But I did enough research. I found a scan tool, and I thought I'm going to take a chance only because it does specify that it works with a Volkswagen Golf. Okay, now at the time I didn't look at the side panel of the box because I only got to see, you know, some information that was on the site. But here's what happens. Features and benefits. Now the tool I bought, by the way, is a MaxScan Autel Model 405. Okay? Here's what happens. Features and benefits. Works with Volkswagen and Audi. Audi, Seat, Skoda, Jetta, Golf. Awesome. Beetle, and some other one I can't pronounce with a T. It's Touareg. GTI, Passat, and more that have been sold worldwide since 1990. Now on the side of the box it says, the MaxScan VAG 405 code scanner is an OEM level diagnostic scan tool for most, okay, for most VW and Audis sold worldwide since 1990. Which means since 1990 they've had an ODB2 port as well, because this is ODB2 only. Accurate, reliable, easy to use, blah blah blah. Okay. Now, when you go further into the box specifications here, this is where it sticks with the Volkswagen and Golf stuff, but also gets into other vehicles not made by that company. So we're talking General Motors, Ford, etc. Reads and erases diagnostics trouble codes of most electronically controlled vehicle modules, including engine, ABS, airbags, transmission, radio. I don't know why you'd want to troubleshoot your radio, but whatever. Climate control, central, electric, steering wheel, instruments, immobilizer circuits. Reads and clears generic trouble codes of cars using ISO 9141-2 CARB, ISO 14230 KWP 2000, and ISO 15765 CAN protocols. Also is CAN controller network capability, or compatibility, sorry. Turns off check engine lights, airbags, ABS, AT, and most other systems. Resets oil service light. Okay, so that's another bonus. Retrieves vehicle information VIN. Displays emissions readiness status. Displays DTC definitions on unit screens. Not only do you get a code, it tells you what it is. Okay? Highly reliable and accurate, easy to use, friendly interface. Safely communicates with onboard computers. Large, easy to read, backlit LCD display. System is upgradable via the internet. / they should have put when updates are available. Standalone unit with no need for additional laptop or computer to operate. 1-year warranty against defects. Other bonus of this little puppy, you don't need batteries. It's powered by your car's port when you plug it in. That just saved me a whack load of money on batteries all the time. So, because battery dependent units, if the batteries aren't strong enough, they may misread information too. So this thing takes power right from your car to power it. So that's awesome. And it is very easy. Yes button, no button, scroll through menu choices. You know, hey, what can be simpler? Very easy, simple to use. Now, I bought this because we had a 99 Golf and I couldn't find a scan tool that would work on it. My Innova wouldn't work on it at all. And we did get rid of the Golf before this actually came in the mail. So I was like, damn. But the wife's like, well, it'll work on the new car. Well, we bought a 2000 Toyota, so I'm looking on YouTube, you know. And yeah, hey, check it out, man. It'll work on a Toyota. It didn't specify a Camry, Corolla, or whatever, but Toyota. The guy's using it on Toyota. That's good enough for me. So I plugged it into my Corolla, and we got a 2000 Corolla now. The Volkswagen became quite the money pit while we were waiting for this to come in the mail. But anyway, so it works fine on my Toyota. I'm sure it's going to work fine on many other vehicles. It probably would have worked just fine on the Volkswagen, but hey, we retired it and used it as a trade-in and got the Corolla now, and I'm quite happy with my new Corolla. Loving it. But this thing, even for the features that it carries, you won't find those features until you get into the more expensive $400, $500, $600, and $800 and $1,000 scan tools. You know, and this is all packaged in this little puppy for an amazing price of under $45. Well, at least when you buy it from banggood.com like I did. But I've seen them on other places on the internet for this exact model that is upwards to $80 and more. So it depends where you buy it from, how much you're going to pay. Now there is a model that's one up from this for a couple dollars more that I'm actually going to order, that actually does PCM live streaming data and a few other things. And I don't know what the compatibility range is going to be, but I don't really care. If it works with the car I plug it into and I can get access to that live data, that's all the better for me. There are Bluetooth module type ones you can buy that'll work with your smartphone. The application is a free download, from Google Play or wherever. And you can use your smartphone as a Bluetooth scan tool with their connector. But that connector doesn't guarantee you either it's going to work with all vehicles out in the market, because no company in their right mind actually should or can actually guarantee you that their tool will work with every single car on the market. It's impossible. The only way that happens is if you spend about $8,000 or more on the creme de la creme, end of all to be all scan tools, which means you're buying a cartridge specific for every car, unless you have the version of that scan tool that you can just download the latest parameters from a website for that tool, and you pay a fee in order to get access to those particular codes, okay, to be able to read the vehicle. So that's kind of a really interesting proposition, but that kind of a tool you don't need unless you're like a dealership or a garage that has to have that kind of a tool. But this even works for professionals as well as for the do-it-yourselfer guys, because there's a lot of cars that this thing will deal with. I don't know which ones it won't deal with or will deal with, but it does deal with a lot. So there's a really good chance that, for 45 bucks, actually under, that this thing's probably going to work for you. Now, I'm not pushing this product on anybody. I'm not giving you a review here right now on this. That review is going to be coming soon, don't worry. But what I'm talking about is being very careful about purchasing a scan tool or code reader before you buy it. Research it. Find it on YouTube. Find it on Google searches. Really get into it. See if it actually does work on your car. If somebody has your same car, and see if it does work or doesn't work. Because if you go out and you spend all this money and it doesn't work, you're not going to be happy. And a lot of companies are now no longer doing refunds on their equipment that they sell you for these code readers and scan tools, because a lot of companies are getting sick and tired of being scammed by customers that'll just buy the thing, they'll use it, they'll fix their problem, then they'll get a refund. Because some of these tools cost an awful lot of money. Innova is one of them. My Innova 3100 that I had was a $200 scan tool, and I didn't pay $200. I got it on sale. But I sold that to my stepson for his Nissan, because it worked on the Nissan, wouldn't work on my Volts. But it did work on all the other vehicles I had gotten a chance to use it on, and then we also owned. So, but it was a basic code reader, and that's all it does. It had the IM readiness status system, tells me about my emissions. It had troubleshooting codes for the engine, as well as definitions, but it didn't cover ABS, it didn't cover transmission, didn't cover radio, didn't cover steering, didn't cover instruments, didn't cover the immobilizer system if there was one, airbags, didn't cover any of that stuff. And I'm like, that's 200 bones, man, if you ended up having to pay retail. Even on sale for $100 is still way too much money and not getting those features. I paid like under 50 bucks and I get the whole shooting match here. Now, with this too, that's the other thing. Even if you buy a scan tool that has all these features, guys, that does not mean that all of these features are going to be available on your car. They may not have put in those things on your car, even though technically they should work. They may not have put in the protocols for your car, which actually puts you into having to go to a garage or a dealer for certain things. Still, even though you bought a tool that should be compatible, maybe most of the stuff is, but not all. And that's the nice thing I like about a company like Autel too, is their honesty is right there on the box. Most, not all, most, okay? Works with these specific protocols for sure, okay? Can reset your oil service light, okay? Maybe not on all, but it will work on most, etc., etc. The list goes on, right? So they seem to be a very honest company. I'm giving them a try, and for under 50 bucks, hey, I got nothing to lose, and one way or another, I got a useful tool out of the deal, okay? And I'm going to buy a couple more of the Max Scan models that are higher up in levels with more features. Especially now that I found a few others that I really like too. And I don't mind owning more, because if I do find out that this one doesn't work on a particular car, and maybe the next model up for a couple dollars extra does, then it's worth it to me, as somebody who fixes cars, to actually have access to that. Because sorry, I'm not independently wealthy. I can't afford a $2,000 or $10,000 scan tool to work on somebody's car. But if I have a few of these that gives me the equivalent, and I'm still saving hundreds and thousands of dollars on tools, that's worth it to me. It really is. For the do-it-yourselfer guy, even if you get the next model up from this, or you get this model, whichever, or you get another different version of a scan tool, as long as it works with your own vehicle, that's the important thing. And as long as it works with at least most of the features of your vehicle, that's also a very important thing. So you really don't want to have just a code reader that is only going to deal with your engine, okay? And that's the problem, is a lot of these code readers, they just read. They don't even turn off the light, period. And some of them can, and that's the other thing you got to look at. What am I getting for my money? And so research is key here. Lots of research before you go and spend your money on one of these things, so you get the best bang for your buck. I was looking at a code scanner, or scan tool, okay, from Princess Auto, that's very similar in looks to this thing. They want $400, and I even called the company that makes the stupid thing, and I'm like, can you tell me for sure if it will work with my car? All I can tell you, sir, is it does work with GMs. I can't tell you specifically what features it's going to work with your exact car, or if it'll even work with your exact car. It should, but it may not. There is a chance. Now, that's an honest company too, but it's a $400 tool that still didn't even have half the features of this thing. And I'm like, holy cow, So this is where I'm saying, really research this stuff before you go out and buy one. It pays to take the time to not just watch a video like this to get some information, but watch other guys' videos too on different scan tools, see what they're working on for vehicles, how it works. Is it got the features you're looking for? Read specifications online on these different scan tools, and get something that's best suited to your own needs and for what you need it for, what you want to know about your vehicle on it. And you're still not going to get the guarantee whether or not it's even going to work with your vehicle, but at least try and buy it if you can from a company that if it doesn't work at all with your vehicle, that they would actually refund your money, so you can find another alternative. Because when a company, like I said, they say works with all 96 and newer vehicles with an ODB2 port, that is a falsehood. That is a big red flag right there. And that's where you got to stay clear of, in my opinion, you should stay clear of that particular product, because that's not going to happen, like I said, until you spend thousands of dollars on a diagnostic scan tool that will actually do that sort of thing, okay, and work with every single feature for every single car, and have every single feature of that car unlocked into the scan tool. That's a multi-$1,000 scan tool that can do that. Nothing in the lower ends have I found yet that could even come close to that. Okay, well, it'll come close to a lot of things, but just not every single vehicle that exists. Okay, so that's something to really look at too before you spend your money. Because I've read a lot of ads where people, they post it up on Kijiji and stuff, because it's one of our ad boards here. I see, scan tools for sale all the time. Doesn't work with my car. Used it once, I don't need it anymore. Hey, you used it once, you saved a couple of $100. That doesn't mean you don't need it. Your car's going to screw up again, pal. I mean, come on, keep your tool. Especially if it works with your car. I mean, hey, that's a rarity, right? No, I'm just kidding. It's not that rare. The thing is people will sell their scan tools after just saving a $500 or $600 repair bill, thinking, hey, tool paid for itself. Sure it did. Now it owes you nothing, because it saved you a huge, huge bill, right? But if the ad says, well, it doesn't even work with my car, well, maybe it'll work with yours. How do you find out? Go see the guy, plug it into your car, try it. If it works with your car and the price is good, go for it. But you know what? When it comes to a scan tool, I don't care if the guy, he used it and said it didn't work. Make sure you try it out before you buy it. Also, keep in mind too, If you can buy this for 50 bucks, his $300 scanner isn't quite worth 50 bucks. All right, in my opinion. But if you want to pay the little extra because you like it because of the company brand or whatever, go ahead. But you will lose, and that's why I'm saying that, is you're going to lose 50 to 75% of whatever you paid for your scan tool when you go to resell it. So if you paid $300, be prepared to be lucky to get $25 to $50 out of it. You know, unless you find somebody who's willing to pay you at least half. Because they do go on sale a lot too, especially the Innova stuff at Canadian Tire. If it's $300, it goes to $200. I've seen it as low as 50% off, so $150. So if a guy's got one up there for $150, it's already used. $150 may be a pretty good deal, but make sure that it works properly with no problems with the display. Make sure that it connects to your vehicle, reads your vehicle systems that you want it to read. Make sure you also get the user's manual with it as well as everything else that comes with it. So research it before you go and look at it. Make sure you're getting everything that came with it too, if you're going to buy a used one. But, you know, that's just some information. Hopefully it helps you out, you know, and you don't get yourself ripped off either by even buying a used one. Make sure that, you know, you're getting something that works properly with your vehicle, because if it doesn't work with your vehicle, there's no sense buying it, you know. And if you're buying brand new, yeah, there's a really good chance it's going to work. It is a very good chance, but there's always that small percentage of a chance it may not work, and there's nothing you can do to escape that. It's a chance. So just make sure when you're buying new, research first, make sure it's suitable to your requirements, has a lot of features for the money. Make sure you're not paying a king's ransom for it, because there's no requirement to. If I can buy this thing for 45 bucks brand new, and it can do a whack load of stuff, there's no reason why you can't find something, either buying the same one or buying a comparable machine for the same kind of money, or even a little bit more maybe, but not too much more. And having those features work and working with your vehicle, those are big benefits, guys. That's thinking consumer smart here. You know, and read reviews too, but pick through the reviews. And the biggest thing I can tell you on reviews, because I do a lot of reviews, as a lot of you know, I will never give anything a 5 out of 5 star rating. And that is because there is no such thing as anything that is extremely perfect or is perfect. Now, you can come pretty damn close to perfect, but, you know, even 4 3/4 I think is the top star rating I've given everything. On something. I've never given anything a 5 out of 5. Most stuff is usually 4 out of 5, maybe 4.5 out of 5. I've even done a few that are like even lesser, just because, you know, it's just the way it turned out. But 5 out of 5 reviews I'm very cautious on as well. So investigate a lot of reviews. Don't just stick to one website on one product. Find that same product on many websites and check out all the reviews. Because everybody's going to have different cars too, which is going to help you get a little bit of variety knowledge of, hey, will this work with this, or this? Hey, yeah, it does. Hey, cool, awesome. And I've got that car, so I know already it's going to work with it. Cool. And it's a good bang for the buck. And, you know, and this is where good investigating comes in and research before you buy it. Now, apply this exact same thing into anything you buy. Okay? Always check. Always review, always investigate, always look for the best bang for your buck too. You know, hey, we're all cheap, we know that, and that's just the way the human race is, and I have no problem with that. So, you know, apply it to everything you're looking at in life of buying. Do your investigations, do your homework thoroughly before you get yourself into something that could turn out to be a disaster, you know. So that's very important. Ask a lot of questions. Call the manufacturer if you need to as well. Get their input. See what they have to say about their own product they're selling, you know, and find out what you can from them. I mean, they're going to be honest, you know, to a certain degree at least. You know, you'd think they would be anyway. So, because, you know, they're trying to make a name for themselves in the marketplace, they got to keep their honesty up. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. If you have any other questions, you know, feel free to ask, you know, and leave your comments. And I'll do the best I can to answer your questions, and we can go from there. So catch you on the next one, guys.